Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to lesson 6.3 as I adjust the camera here. We're looking at using our next step to solve systems of equations. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use elimination. This is one of two lessons on elimination. We're going to be using addition and subtraction to eliminate one of our variables to solve for the other one. So step one is to write the equation so that the like variables are aligned, which just means that we're going to stack things on top of each other. Step two is to choose to add or subtract to eliminate one of the variables. Then we're going to solve for that one. And after we've solved for one variable, we can substitute it in to either equation to solve for the other one. Remember that our answers in a systems of equations are always going to be an ordered pair. All right, you ready for this? So here we are, elimination style. We're going to do a couple problems and let you guys roll. All right, so this is our very first problem. You can see that we have two problems here. One of them is a negative, or two equations, 3x plus 4y is equal to a 12. And then I'm going to line up my x's here, my y's here, and then my regular constants over there. And I have a 3x and a, oopsies, I got to put a minus. So my next equation says minus 6y and equals 18. So if you think about this, this is just one addition problem, this whole thing here. So I have my x's, my y's, and my regular numbers, my like terms lined up. So a negative 3x plus 3x's makes 0 x's. And I don't really need to write 0 x's, but just so you guys see that that's what's happening, that's what we're going to do. And then we have a 4y and minus 6y gets us a total of negative 2y. And a 12, and since it says plus, 18 is 30. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve this little equation here, and we're going to solve it by dividing by a negative 2. And we find out that y is then equal to a negative 15. So in my ordered pair answer, I have x that we have not yet figured out yet, and y is a negative 15. Now we can choose either one of these two equations to plug this y equals a negative 15 in for. I'm going to choose to solve it into this one just because it looks like a fun one to do. So I have a 3x minus a 6 times the y that we figured out of negative 15 is equal to 18. And I'm going to get some more space here. So when we do this, a negative 6 times a negative 15, I get my trusty calculator ready because I want to double check and make sure I don't screw this up. So it's basically 6 times 15, but they're both negative, so it's positive. And we get the answer of 90. So this is going to turn into a 3x plus 90 equals 18. And since you guys have been just rocking it for a long time here, all we got to do is subtract 90. This is a step that you all know what to do. And we find ourselves with a 3x, and then an 18 minus 90 is like a negative 72 equals a negative 72. So kind of a big number there, but no big deal. We can handle that. And then we divide by 3, divide by 3. We find out that x is equal to a negative 24. Let me double check that because sometimes in my head things don't work out the way I want them to. Okay, perfect. I lied. I'm perfect. No, that's just a false thing. So my two answers, my x and my y, make one ordered pair of a negative 24, negative 15. Now obviously you can see that graphing this would have been kind of a horrendous thing because the answer is way down and way over. So that's kind of a hard thing to graph because the numbers aren't very nice. That's why we would use this kind of a method. All right, let's do another one. Whoa, there's words. All right, we can handle this too. It says 4 times one number, let's call that 4x. 4 times one number times another number. 4 times one number times another number is 12. 2 times the first number added to the second number is 6. All right, so I had to hit a pause button there and fix. There must have been something missing in my notes here, so I had to fix things here. It says 4 times one number minus 3 times another, and that's where we needed to get that information. So it says minus 3 times another. We're going to call that other number, or the second number, a y. equals 12. And then the second equation is going to say 2 times the first number. We're going to call that 2 times x times the first number added to the second number plus y. 2 times the first number added to the second number equals 6. Now our job is to find these two numbers. So we made one last final mistake there. And so the second equation says 2 times the first number added to 3 times the second number. So we have a 3y here is 6. Now our job, because we have opposites here, and you'll notice the reason why I paused there. And so these are now opposite of each other, so they are going to eliminate when we add. So when we add these two equations together, we get 6x's is equal to 18, which means x is equal to 3. So in my ordered pair answer, I get 3. Now my next step is to plug in this x equals 3 into one of these two equations. I'm going to choose the second one because the numbers are smaller. So it's going to say 2 times that 3 that we figured out plus 3y is equal to 6. So that says 6 plus 3y is equal to 6. Subtract 6 from both sides, and 3y is then equal to 0, which means y is equal to 0. So my answer is a 3, 0. We could have easily graphed that one as well, but it is already all messed up. All right, folks, we have another problem here, and we're going to see if this will be our last one for us. Notice that these equations, this system of equations, does not have numbers that are opposite of each other. So we are going to stack things up nice and neat so that the variables are on top of each other. But the thing here is they are not opposites. We have two 4x's, but they are not saying one's positive, one's negative. So instead of adding, we are going to subtract everything. So this says 4 minus 4, which is 0. So I have 0x's, just what I wanted to have happen. This says a 2 minus a negative 3. Minus minus means plus plus, so it ends up being 2 plus 3, which gets us to a 5y. And this says 28 minus 18, which is then 10. The big error that's going to happen here, folks, is you're going to try to do 2 minus 3y. 2y's minus 3y's to get negative 1. That is not correct because it was minus a negative. So keep track of those things. So we get ourselves with this 5y equals 10. We're going to divide by 5, and that's why y is equal to 2. Now, in my order pair answer, that's the 2. And I'm going to plug this in for either one of these equations. They're more or less the same thing, but I'm going to put it into the top one just so that my y's are positive. So I'm going to plug it into the top one, and it says 4 times x plus 2 times 2 is equal to that 28. Get some more space here for us. Now when I do this math, we get a 4x, I don't know why I put x in parentheses, that's kind of silly, plus 4 is equal to 28. We subtract the 4's, and 4x is equal to then a 24, which means x is equal to 6. So then we plug that in, our ordered pair answer is 6, 2. Now, again, the only thing we're looking here, folks, on this type of a lesson is to find things that are going to eliminate. And that's how we solve these problems, folks. All right, we're going to call it a day. This is the Bermination, and I am signing off. Good luck.